Yeah, let's keep.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Hi guys, this is great. Thank you so much for doing this. I know this wasn't meant to be a debate, but I was hoping that you'd speak a little bit more about altruism. Yaron has very famously, taken the Ayn Rand position that altruism is evil. Eric, I'm a little confused though about your position. I know you were a Bernie supporter, but you're also in the business world. Can you talk a little bit about your views on altruism and what we are to do with all those other people that you're just talking about?
Well, first of all, thanks for the question. Very short, so thank you. You don't get confused by things that people advertise as altruism. Altruism can be many things. One thing it can be is a peacock's tail. I'm so goddamn successful and so rich that I can afford to be altruistic, right? So you're actually being selfish in a weird way, but actually great things can be accomplished on behalf of that. You can also think about inclusive fitness from a Hamiltonian perspective. There are all sorts of ways to get to beautiful and decent acts that don't require mumbo jumbo and nonsense. And what I think is you can have a child's relationship to altruism, or you can have an adult's relationship to altruism. And what we need to get rid of is the child's relationship to altruism, because that leads to madness.
So I'll just, because this is, I mean, there's a lot to talk about here, but I'll just be brief. I mean, it's important to define terms what we mean by altruism, because it's used so widely and so briefly. But the philosopher coined the term, Auguste Comte, really meant living for the sake of other people, that your own happiness, your own sense, and that's in many senses it's still being used in that way, but in a disguised kind of way, because nobody actually wants to live that way, so it's being used as an excuse. I think one of Ayn Rand's real greatest achievements is rethinking ethics and really reconceptualizing what we mean by a lot of these terms, but reconceptualizing what ethics means, what's the purpose of morality, and what kind of values should be attained. So for her, a lot of kind of the peacock tail wouldn't be self-interest. So a lot of the kind of stuff we do because we're convinced that we're supposed to help other people, so we help other people to appease unearned guilt, I would say is not self-interest. That you get rid of the guilt. That's the self-interest part, is get rid of what's unearned. So Rand really focuses us on a morality that says, rationally pursue your own self-interest. Figure out using reason what is truly in your long-term rational self-interest. Not easy. I always tell audiences to be selfish in a Randian sense, which I think is the only sense, is hard work. It requires real thinking. It requires real engagement with your life and with reality. And altruism, the idea of living for the sake of other people, is evil. Now that the concept of selfishness and self-interest does not preclude helping other people and assisting other people in a variety of different interesting ways, right? But it has to be grounded in an idea of what it means to be me, and what it means to be, to be successful, and what my values really represent.
You put this philosophy to work in your novel Atlas Shrugged.
That's right.
You demonstrate it in human terms in your novel Atlas Shrugged. And let me start by quoting from a review of this novel Atlas Shrugged that appeared in Newsweek. It said that you are out to destroy almost every edifice in the contemporary American way of life, our Judeo-Christian religion, our modified government-regulated capitalism, our rule by the majority will. Other reviews have said that you scorn churches and the concept of God. Are these accurate criticisms?
Yes. I agree with the facts, but not the estimate of this criticism. Namely, if I am challenging the base of all these institutions, I'm challenging the moral code of altruism, the precept that man's moral duty is to live for others, that man must sacrifice himself to others, which is the present-day morality.
What do you mean by sacrifice himself for others? Now we're getting to the point.
One moment. Since I'm challenging the base, I necessarily would challenge the institutions, you name, which are a result of that morality.
All right.
And now what is self-sacrifice?
Yes, what is self-sacrifice? You say that you do not like the altruism by which we live. You like a certain kind of Ayn Randist selfishness.
I would say that I don't like is too weak a word. I consider it evil. And self-sacrifice is the precept that man needs to serve others in order to justify his existence, that his moral duty is to serve others. That is what most people believe today.
Well, yes, we're taught to feel concerned for our fellow man, to feel responsible for his welfare, to feel that we are, as religious people might put it, children under God and responsible one for the other. Now, why do you rebel? What's wrong with this philosophy?
But that is what, in fact, makes man a sacrificial animal. That man must work for others, concern himself with others, or be responsible for them. That is the role of a sacrificial object. I say that man is entitled to his own happiness and that he must achieve it himself, but that he cannot demand that others give up their lives to make him happy. And nor should he wish to sacrifice himself for the happiness of others. I hold that man should have self-esteem.